Hi everybody. Today I wanted to take time on our second to last assembly to talk about rainbows. Now, rainbows, we know what they look like. That's a particularly nice example, and we've been seeing a lot of them recently, haven't we? If we look at definition, an arc of colours visible in the sky caused by the refraction and dispersion of the sun's light, a wide range of related and typically colourful things, many coloured, bright coloured, deep colours, brilliant, glowing, radiant, vivid, all the colours of the rainbow. But I warrant that if you ask most people, they wouldn't know what they are caused by. So here, very quickly, light from the sun enters a raindrop. Some of it's reflected back at that stage, but the light that enters the raindrop is refracted. It is diverted from its straight course. It travels to the back of the raindrop, where more of it, because of the angle it hits the raindrop at, more of it is reflected back. There's some internal reflection. And when it gets to the interface between the raindrop and the atmosphere again, it is refracted again back towards where the light is coming from. You'll notice that if you see a rainbow, the sun is behind you, the rain is in front of you. What's happening? Light is coming past your head, entering the raindrops, being refracted, reflected, refracted back again to form an arc in front of you. And if you could see, if the land wasn't there, it'd be a complete circle. That is what's happening when you're seeing a rainbow, and it's a very particular size, okay? So somewhere on this is the 42 degrees. Now, interestingly, and I say this advisedly because I find it interesting, if you've got a raindrop made of pure water, or if you've got a raindrop made of seawater, that's a different angle. So anyway, that's the science which gives us the spectrum of the colours. But that's not why we've been seeing rainbows a lot recently, is it? Also, another thing, I don't know if you've ever thought you've noticed this. Here's two rainbows. Have you ever imagined that it was lighter here than it is here? Well, you haven't imagined it. That is actually true. The sky inside a primary rainbow, secondary rainbow, is brighter than the sky outside. And then there's definition. It's because each rainbow is a sphere, it scatters light over an entire circular disk in the sky, blah, 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 blah. You haven't imagined it. If you've always thought it was brighter under the rainbow, you were right. So, rainbows, clearly very visible. They have an important part in different mythologies and religions. In the Bible, Genesis 9:13, Noah's been warned about the flood coming. He's built the ark, and then start reading into different ways the ark's represented. But anyway, all the animals 2 by 2 into the ark, rain, water, flood. He sends out the dove and the raven. And anyway, at the end of all that, he says, are going to be more floods? And the God says, no. My covenant to you, my promise to you, I'm going to put my rainbow in the sky as a promise between me and the earth. We see that in the Bible. We see that in representations, though. There's a fantastic fresco with the ark there and Noah, a depiction of God there and the rainbow above it. It's not only Christian religion that mentions the ark. When I googled it, I found all sorts, but I particularly liked the idea that in Norse mythology, the mythology of the Vikings, Bifrost is a burning rainbow bridge that reaches between Midgard and Asgard. Midgard's where we are, Asgard is the realm of the gods, and over that burning bridge, warriors who proved themselves worthy or gods could cross into the realm of Asgard. But unfortunately, there was too much war and the bridge collapsed. And I think the too much war was the time of Ragnarok. But anyway, I thought that's a fantastic example. I found references into Maori religion, Hindu religion, and all sorts. That might be something you look into. Okay, but that's not the reason we're seeing the rainbow currently, is it, in all the windows? Um, for a long while, since the mid 60s and 70s, the rainbow flag has been a symbol of solidarity with the LGBT plus community, hasn't it? You'll see it at marches, you'll see it on banners, you'll see it on pin badges, a way of showing solidarity with the wealth of diversity in our communities is the rainbow flag, which came out of protest movements in America in the 60s and 70s, I believe, a flag designed to show diversity and an easy way of showing solidarity. But that's not the reason currently we've been seeing as many rainbow flags. It should be a good reason. We should have these pin badges everywhere. This is what we've been seeing in the windows. Also, you could Google, for instance, I would remember the Rainbow Warrior, the Greenpeace ship. I remembered Nelson Mandela being released from his long time in captivity and talking about South Africa being the Rainbow Nation. But this is what we've been seeing, isn't it, in the last few months? The rainbow badge for NHS and key workers, the rainbows in the windows to brighten people's days. Now, from what I've worked out, the start of this was and you can check, because not everything I say is true, but I believe this to be what people believe to be true, which is not the same as being true, is it? Somebody started a campaign on social media saying that the new Nightingale hospitals would be dull places, but wouldn't it be good if they were cheered up by people sending paintings of rainbows? Doesn't say why rainbows, except I think, of course, it's a beautiful symbol. And they started a campaign which was hashtag Rainbows for Nightingale. Unfortunately, it was a complete hoax. All that happened is that the new hospitals, which had to be kept clean and infection-free, were suddenly deluged with a whole load of children's paintings, which they couldn't use because they couldn't put them in the hospitals. So very quickly someone said, look, it's an absolute myth. Why not instead start putting the rainbows in your windows to brighten the days of, perhaps if children are walking places, they can see other people who've decorated their windows. And it became adopted for the current situation. Okay, so for 2,000 years plus, it had been a symbol of the covenant between God and the earth in Christian religion. In the medieval times, the Vikings had thought it was the burning link between earth and heaven. The Hindus believed it was a bow and something being shot from it. In the 50s and 60s, in the 60s and 70s, it became the symbol of the LGBT movement. And then, because of a hoax in April, it then became the symbol for the NHS and key workers and all the clapping and things like that. Which is a good enough reason, and perhaps we should keep wearing them. But I think as we keep wearing them, we can talk about all the other useful. But also, I think the beautiful science behind it is the idea that in every raindrop, light's passing in, being refracted, reflected at the back, reflected again, and coming back where we then see that light split into a spectrum. Oh, and there's some fantastic work where if you look at what Newton did with white light and turn it spectrum. Which brings us to, I always like to finish with a song and some poetry as well. The obvious choice would be Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz. The obvious choice would be the girl growing up in Kansas with her aunt and uncle, depicted in black and white, 1939, the time of the Great Depression, not happy with her life, and talking about somewhere over the rainbow, a land that she's heard of, where dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. And then the story starts, doesn't it? With the tornado. And if you haven't seen it, watch The Wizard of Oz and watch how the black and white world of Kansas becomes Oz. But that would be too obvious. The better song poem by far is this one. And I haven't got the link to work, so on the email I'm going to send you with this, there will be a link. And if you do nothing else this week, apart from your maths, English, science, and your other subjects, your RS, your history, your Latin, your languages, your art, and your DT, as well as all that, on keeping fit and sleeping and being kind to your parents and all the, as well as all that, find time to watch the link I've sent you. Rainbow Connection from the Muppet movie, sung by Kermit. And I defy anybody to not cry as they hear it. But here's the bit I love. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? The lovers, the dreamers, and me. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection. Okay? And that's the arc of today's assembly. The physics, the mythology, the symbolism, coming to watch, in fact there's the camera, watch Kermit from the Muppet movie singing Rainbow Connection.